This was our program today, but we seem to have started late. We'll really try to rush and finish by 1. So we'll introduce, first of all, we'll have Kevin from Zurich, which is one of the event sponsors, talking about Zurich briefly. And then I'll introduce you to AI Kenya, what we've done, our objectives, mission, etc., and how you can be a part of it. And then Weaver will introduce a branch of AI Kenya called Data Morans, which is for experts. And then he'll share some project work, sort of the work that AI Kenya is in the projects we'll be working on. And then we'll launch the website. And then we'll have Clement still from Zurich. He'll be presenting his project. It's called Zaval, right? And then we'll have Ian from PeopleCentric. Ian, are you here? Yes, Ian is here. He'll talk about the work PeopleCentric is doing and how they're contributing to widening the gap in AI talent in Kenya. And then we'll have Leonard Mabele from iLab Strathmore talking about their vision for AI and how they plan to work with us. Then we'll have Q&A. We'll wrap up, and then we'll have refreshment/lunch in the other room, so don't leave. My name is Alfred Ongere. I'll be taking you through. This event is sponsored by 2 organizations. First of all, Intel, the Intel Software Innovator Program that I'm part of, and then by Zurich, which Kevin will be taking us through right about now. Yeah, so welcome, Kevin. Introduce your team. While it's getting ready, I'd like to know more about you guys, where you're from. So you can just tell us your name, your organization, and why you are here. So I'll be choosing randomly. So I hope you guys are not so shy. Yeah. So I think you can go first.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dome Okuku Jagalo. I am from Cora Solutions. It's a startup that I just founded, and it deals with data and research around displacement populations, forcibly displaced, and trying to predict how those patterns change over time so that we can provide solutions for them. I have a keen interest on what's happening here today, and I hope I'll make good acquaintances and get to know all of you and what you do. Thanks.
My name is Stacey Rota. I'm from Next Technologies. What else? I'm here because I want to pursue data science, so basically yeah.
I have interest with AI, and I think it can be very, very much helpful to helping the solutions in businesses.
Good morning. Again, I'm Kevin Deritu. I'm a developer at Alpha Manuscript, which is the company that owns Sarix. Again, it's Sarix, not Zurich. So I'll try to take as the least time possible just to introduce what Sarix is. So Sarix is a platform we are developing right now to enable SMEs and startups manage their businesses well using integrated apps. So these integrated apps will be solving problems like social media, things like sales, inventories, and others. So what we noted doing our little market research, we noted that most people who have these small businesses are having a hard time trying to manage such stuff. Let's say I'm selling shoes, and I would like to reach out maybe some people or maybe some of my customers using, let's say, Facebook. Others are in WhatsApp, others might be in Telegram, others might be. So I'll be forced to use WhatsApp, then use Facebook. Then again, when someone orders something through a WhatsApp group, I'll have to check my inventory to see whether there's any remaining. If there's nothing remaining, then I'll have to, it becomes a bit hectic for business owners. So we decided to come up with this platform that will have everything within one bag or basket, where a business person can just use Sarix to do all those things. We also want to partner with developers who are the guys now who will develop these integrated apps. So we'll provide SDKs and apps that will, extensions that will enable developers create these apps on Sarix. That's it about Sarix. If you have any questions, this is our team, Clement and Lydia. So you can ask any question after this session. And also myself. Yeah. We are glad to partner with AI Kenya to support such communities. And we are also glad that they organized this event. Thanks.
Thank you, Kevin, for being exact on time. It's good that you're not a Kenyan politician. Going back to the program, I'll tell you our origin story, how we started, who we are, why we are doing this, our objectives, the activities we have done so far, our mission and vision, and then how you can join us, how you can support us. Because we don't want this to be a 2-month thing or a 3-month thing. We want all of you to be part of it. So this is a picture that was taken at Technical University of Kenya. We were handling Intel AI Ambassador event. I had invited Weaver, my co-founder, as a speaker. And after we finished the event, we realized that we needed a space where we could have conversations around artificial intelligence. So I wanted someone I can be talking about a model, handling accuracies. I can be talking about linear regression, and that person understands me, and we can sort of share knowledge and move forward. So that was one of the motivations why we started AI Kenya. So on 3rd October 2017, we formed our WhatsApp group, and we call it AI Kenya, and we started inviting guys from the Intel Developer Zone to Android 254 communities, and people started streaming in and being part of the conversation. So that's our origin story. That's how it started. There's a lot of content that you can leverage on to get started as someone who wants to pursue AI and data science. So we wanted to have a platform where we can share learning paths we have gone through with other people so that they can also get started and sort of have a smooth journey while getting started. Just building on top of that, there are a lot of open source resources. There's a lot of open source resources out there. Most of them are online, and most of them are free. So from data sets to free online courses to programs by organizations like Intel, Google, there are so many free resources that you can leverage on to get started in AI and data science. So we want to connect people to these free resources. So going through some of our objectives, the first one is awareness. We want to create awareness around the technology, AI itself, and data science, but mostly AI. You'll find there's a lot of misconception in the media about what AI is capable of and what really is AI and what is not. So we welcome anyone who sort of wants to understand the technology better. The second thing we want to do is training. So through programs by other organizations like Intel, Google, and even universities, we want to help to connect our community members to training programs that they can leverage on to get started on AI. And then we also want to share and create opportunities. So how many here know about the deep learning in Indaba? How many have heard about deep learning in Indaba here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you see, only 5 people in the room know about deep learning in Indaba. Microsoft AI residency program, how many know about it? 2. African Institute for Mathematical Sciences. This was introduced recently by Mustafa Sise. He's a very good AI researcher. Only 1. And then the OpenAI Tanzania Challenge. How many know about it? Claim you're in the group, and Weaver. Supposed to know about it. So, Deep Learning Indaba is an event organized in South Africa. It's happening this year between 9th to 14th September. We are glad to say that we have around 4 communities members, right, Weaver? Around 4 communities members from our community who will be attending the event. So we hope after they attend the event, they'll share their experience with us. And then I'm also happy to say that the Deep Learning Indaba event next year will be held here in Nairobi. So we'll be part of the team that will be helping them to set up and get it started. Then we want to grow an innovative ecosystem. There's this lab in Ethiopia called ICOB Labs, and they are really doing some cool research around AI. They're playing around with robots. Recently, they had a football robot challenge where they are programming robots to take part in a soccer match, and they're inviting universities from across Africa to participate as members. I think Technical University of Kenya is one of the teams participating in that. So we also want to bring out such initiatives that are in the country or that are in Africa, and we also want to learn from them. Then the last thing we want to do is want to build research. We want to combine academia, industry, and government, something called the triple helix approach. I think most of you might be familiar with it. So we have a lot of students are doing projects in data science and machine learning. But after they finish the projects, that's it. After you graduate, that's it. So what happens to that project? Can you pursue it? Can you sort of develop it further and sort of turn it into an economic venture? Or can you use it to get a master's or PhD program? And then you also want to help the government to understand AI as a technology and also how they can support the AI movement. And then, of course, industry. Players that are already in the AI industry and data science, we want to work together with them so that we sort of move the movement forward. Our mission is to make data useful because artificial intelligence in itself, it revolves around data, whether it's robot, whether it's a smart assistant helping you. It's either acquiring data or giving out data. So we want to make the data we collect useful. And then our vision in general is to enable Africa to achieve its true potential through technology. So I would like to highlight some of the activities we have participated in so far. The first thing is fireside chats. So since last year, we've been holding fireside chats where we invite experts from the AI and data science industry to interact with our community's members and sort of motivate, mentor, and share their experience in the field. So these are just some of the guests we have had. And these conversations happen online on WhatsApp and Telegram. So we have Kathleen Simiyu from Africa's Talking. We have Megan from South Africa. She's also a member of the community. We have Mwenda Raini, who was previously at PeopleCentric, but now is a data scientist at Microsoft Research. And then we have Albert, who is a PhD student in Spain, but he's also part of the community. And then we have Janet Snyder, who is is a quantum engineer at Microsoft. So all these are experts who have shared and mentored our community members. And then recently we had our first physical meetup. It was actually our first physical event. And then we had a survey in June this year. We wanted to understand the composition of our community, what are their motivations, and sort of what they expect from us, and what we are doing. Is it really helping them, or are we not providing any value? So We did an online survey. We had 61 participants at that time. So out of the respondents, 14.8% were females, and then 85% were males. So you see, there's a very big problem for women in technology, and I think Stella, who is part of the team here, shares that sentiment. We need to do more to bring more women in technology, and I hope the female members or the female attendees who are here can help us sort of move that vision forward. Out of those participants, 64% consider themselves beginners. So you can see there's a huge knowledge gap. We need to do more in terms of making people to have hands-on skills in artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning. And then 35%, they have some knowledge, they have interacted with some models, and only 1% of them were expert. So this is not reflective of where we are right now. We'll need to do another survey to understand how many experts do we have and how many beginners. Sort of, have we closed the gap or nothing is happening? And then in terms of country coverage, 90% of our members obviously are from Kenya. We have a few members from Tanzania, others from Ghana, and lastly from South Africa. And again, this might change if we do another survey. And then in terms of interest, most of them were interested in artificial intelligence and machine learning generally, and while others had specific interests like deep learning, machine learning, and data science. Then when we asked for whether we were providing value, what we were doing, we got 98.4% positive approval. There's only one person who said they were not being helped. So we are working towards getting this to 100%. And then we asked for an activity ranking. Some of the activities we have undertaken are fireside chats. We share opportunities, job opportunities, residency programs, events. And then within our Telegram and WhatsApp group, we also help people with handling code issues, sort of an online WhatsApp Stack Overflow. And then we've also been sharing research papers and learning resources on our WhatsApp and Telegram groups. So for fireside chats, our members gave us a ranking of 5 overall, which is good. For the opportunities, we got 4. For handling code issues, we got 3, so we need to work more on that. And then for research papers, we got 4, which is also fairly good. And then this is just some of the feedback we are getting from our community members. So I just highlighted a few from the feedback we got. Yeah, that's it for now. I think next I would like to invite Ian from PeopleCentric. Welcome, Ian.
So, morning, everyone. Yes, so my name is Ian Kipkemboi. I'm the head of AI solutions in PeopleCentric Limited. And by now, you might be asking yourselves what we do. And as Alfred had actually aptly put it, our basic vision mission statement is to bridge the knowledge gap between the common man and this complex giant called AI and data science. Like all of us who are AI enthusiasts, there's a gap between when you have an interest in AI, the data science, the machine learning models, and actually knowing it, okay? So we saw it fit to try and put a training program which takes a user or an enthusiast like us from their starting point or a greenhorn all the way to an acceptable or intermediate level of such concepts. And I'm glad to say that our first cohort we started was from mid-April this year. And they went through our first module, which is Data Foundations. And actually, I'm glad to say that today they're actually graduating. And how they're graduating is they're actually going through presentations to an actual panel and to assess on how they have fared on. So it's just to complement efforts like what Alfred and his team are doing, where we're trying to just bring more awareness, especially in Kenya and East and Central Africa, to AI, okay? And we all understand the complexity or the initial complexity we feel of such a subject. So we try and bridge that gap, okay? What we're trying to do is to build a research lab. So we currently have a space, and our vision for it is we're trying to stock it with, first of all, equipment, powerful computers with GPUs and whatnot. And the aim of this is when anyone can come to a space and let's say they have a model or a solution they want to implement, and computing power is just the only gap between them achieving that and the solution. We are building a research lab where we can stock the particular powerful computers, and they're able to just come, try out their models, see how it is for free, no problem. And also, it's just not even just about the computing power. It's also just about, again, what Alfred and his team are doing, where we're trying to also bring people, like-minded people together, okay? So let's say I'm a lawyer, okay? So a lawyer, let's say, might not have the technical expertise of programming, for example. However, we all know that AI is permeating in all industries. So we want, let's say, a lawyer can come, an accountant can come, and see how can we leverage such concepts to the particular industries, okay? It's not limited to just us or just some people who are very technical. We want to open it up to all industries and all disciplines. So one problem we saw was that from a HR perspective where, let's say you're a company and you want to hire, it's a sales executive. The problem is here in Kenya, we have a lot of joblessness. So you can state that you can, using your own relevant mediums that you are looking for as such a position, let's say sales executive. Let's say you're looking for only two. The issue might happen is a lot of people might send CVs. So you might get 500 CVs or 1,000 CVs. So the current problem statement is someone might have to actually manually go through all the CVs, okay, and see whether this particular CV is fit for this particular role, which is, let's say you're looking for several points. Let's say you're looking for a Python developer, Python, should know R and such. So we look at the CV and we do a lot of text mining and see whether the similarity between the CV and the actual job description matches. So of course, this doesn't actually eliminate the person who is actually doing this. But what it does, it helps sift unqualified applicants for the particular job that you're hiring. Yeah, and of course, the particular solution is we're augmenting with other applicant variables like your education background, professional background, and whatnot. So yes, I think my parting shot is just let's try and grow this community together. Yes, and I really laud the efforts that AI Kenya is doing in bringing us, all of us together and growing this industry together. Yes, thank you.
Does anyone of you have any questions for Ian as Weaver is preparing about people-centric? Any questions? Okay, how many students have you enrolled currently? And what are some sort of the projects they're working on? Yeah.
So yes, actually, that's a very good question. So for the first cohort that is graduated today, it was a cohort of 10 students, okay? And we actually have 2 more cohorts, which started from June, and the third one started in July. For the projects that they're working on, they're actually working on some interesting projects. So for example, like today, actually before I came, I sat in one of the presentations. So the presentation I sat on was, as we all know that Kenya Power have restructured the bill for the prepaid and postpaid. So this particular student was analyzing what the actual effect of this restructured bill it is on the average consumer. So basically, his basic takeaway was that they indeed scrapped, Kenya Power scrapped the fixed charge, but they increased something called an additional surcharge of 44 shillings on each bill after 10 units. So it was actually a very deep insight into what that particular move by ERC and KPLC did. Yes, and that was just one student. The others, I'm sure, are more interesting along the same vein.
Do you work with companies to train them, and especially business professionals, for them to understand how these technologies are going to affect their work and their companies?
So yes, another good question. So in regards to the kinds of students we have, so most of the profile of most of the students who are coming in are, give or take, students who maybe have graduated from high school, are in campus, or just finished campus. So you find that the mindset of most of these students are, they're looking to be fully data scientists, okay? However, we have maybe give or take 20-30% people who are actual working professionals who feel that AI can augment or can propel them in the particular industry that they're in. Yes. And then the second question was about the corporates, right? So yes, so currently we're training students, but actually in the next 1 or 2 months, we're looking to roll out corporate training. So specifically targeted at working professionals who can learn some of these data science components and how they can augment it also in their day-to-day working.
Guys, how are you? I'm the guy who walks around the stage, so don't mind. And my session is going to be a bit technical. So if you have any questions, you can ask in regards to projects. All right? So a little bit about me. I'm the co-founder of AI Kenya. And something else I should just let you know, I'm really Afrocentric. I believe in building Africa, in expressing, being able to take Africa and some of its really beautiful values to the next stage. I'm also an avid learner. I'd learn anything. I'll spend sessions learning different types of things. I'm also a data analyst. I've taken time to learn this, and I'm also a machine learning engineer. Any one of you who knows Georgia Tech? Oh, one guy. That's my schoolmate, by the way. So it's an online master's of science in computer science, but with a specialization in machine learning. So that's who I am. That's my background. I've worked in a couple of startups. If any one of you know who are these guys? Bitshamba, you don't know them. IntelliSoft Plus, you don't know them. But anyway, I prefer working with startups because you're able to build on a ground level all the way up. And that is something I really want to embrace for different companies on the strategy to AI. Because I see a lot of people trying to do sort of, let me just take an algorithm, place it here, and that's it. But they don't understand the data intuitively. So if I can just move next. So introduction. All right, so who are data morans? So data morans is a structure of, is a branch of AI Kenya that is focused on 3 things. 1, research. 2, impact, and practice and learning. So 1 for research is we really want to take active research. I usually tell people that apart from all the hype around AI, this is where the hype ends. I'm really not a hype guy, straightforward. So one of our major things that we really want to achieve is being able to set up a center where we can research on different technologies just apart from AI. It's just the start, but that's where we're going. Now, we also want to develop AI talent in Kenya. What I mean by AI talent in Kenya is guys who do the actual work, right? Guys who are able to sit all night and be able to look at different data sets, guys who understand algorithms, guys who are able to implement the right algorithm to the right problem. Those are the guys we're looking on. So our cornerstones, what we mean by cornerstones is our foundation, where we're going to do all this from is 1, data sets. How much data do you accumulate as a person in a day? Have you ever asked yourself that? How much? Anybody with a guess? How much do you contribute in a day? Just data. Facebook, Twitter, text. How much do you contribute in a day? Anybody? Well, the estimate is 2.5 quintillion bytes of data each day. If you can compute that for me, you do it every day, every single day. When you wake up in the morning, update Google Keep, write all your notes down. Every day, this is what you contribute every day. So one of the biggest things, and my analogy to this is data is the oil. Data is the oil we are mining. Data, being able to allocate data, being able to work on data, being able to have different data sets for different things, that is one of our biggest things that we're excited about. Second is the talent. Now, talent. How many of you are developers here? Software developers? Just your hands up. 1, 2, wow. Hey, maybe we should just be a session for developers or what? You guys are a lot. Anyway, why I put here programs like developers in AI is if you are a machine learning engineer, when you get here, you'll have a problem a bit with developers. Now, developers come from a CS point of view. You really have a mindset of being able to get a problem and solve it, find solutions on a fly, right? So what developers normally do on a workflow, on a ML pipeline workflow, is that they bring biases. They really bring a lot of biases because they used to roll out. They just used to roll out solutions on the fly. You know, I can write this script and it can deliver this action to me. But what they don't follow is the systematic approach that research gives you a guideline. And once an ML engineer is able to look at to allocate an algorithm and understand how it works, then the developer can take it up from there. So this is what we really want to focus on, is being able to orient developers on how to work in a machine learning environment. So that is not going to be the only thing that we're trying to do. Is apart from that, anybody who has keen interest in wanting to be involved, if you're in HR, if you're a project manager, this is a good chance for you. We're able to work together to show you how a machine learning or an AI workflow looks like, and how you're able to work with different researchers, how you're able to work with data engineers, how you're able to work with data analysts and even visualizers, and how they work, how they operate. So that's a big opportunity that we really want to show a lot of people. We're going to set up research programs to different institutes so that guys can be able to come, guys from Data Morans can be able to engage with other different institutes and be able to take up research. Now, mentorship programs is where we're going to invite a couple of guys who are really good, already good, some of experts that we know. If we're able to even get Jeff Dean, I'll be happy. He is the head of Google AI. So if we're able to even get those guys to speak to guys who are already on the pipeline of actually doing the work, that would be a nice opportunity. So that is what we want to do. They're able to share their thoughts and insights, and guys can be able to ask questions on what they're doing. So we also want to do hackathons. And I should tell you a bit about Zindi. Zindi is, I should just sum it up. It's Kaggle for Africa. How many of you know Kaggle? It's an online data repository, and different companies and different data scientists and ML engineers can be able to participate on different competitions on Kaggle and be able to win prize money or be able to win to get job opportunities. So we chose Zindi because, one, they are for Africa in Africa. It's an initiative that was started by one of our members. Her name is Megan Yates. She's from South Africa. She has a company called XIO Analytics. So you go check it out. I also want you to check out Zindi. It's a really nice platform. It's also starting out. Its launch is on September. I want to launch out with it. So we're able to do hackathons there different companies can be able to come into Zindi and present their data sets and have different guys, different data scientists and ML guys to be able to engage in different competitions. So moving forward to projects, I'll go forward to geomapping. Now, a GIS guy will be really offended with us using the word geomapping because it's a loose term for this, but what we're trying to say is we're trying to map out different malaria hotspots. As I told you before, we're trying to really do something more impactful. We don't just want to do stuff that is small with such a huge technology. We want to take it further. So geomapping malaria is a project that is based on doing research on malaria, and the project will have a research paper at the end of it. So this is what we're doing currently. What we have done is we are able to approach a medical institute, a hospital, and if you've ever read something on data privacy, especially in hospitals, we are dealing with medical records and data, and so we cannot reveal the institute to you publicly right now unless we're given the authorization. So we're going to protect their name, we're going to protect their work until they're ready to roll out. So they're the ones who are going to be able to use this, so we have to get that consent to publish it from them. Anyway, so the fact is, why we chose this is there's a high mortality of malaria. It might look like a problem that is already solved, but you and I live here in Nairobi, right? We don't get to feel what somebody in a village actually feels. Those guys who are close to rainforest, who actually feel the weight of malaria. So what we're trying to do is be able to map out different locations where malaria, we have high infestation of mosquitoes and malaria cases, specifically malaria cases. So what we do is they've given us a data set of their malaria records, the ones that they have actually diagonized and took out to be malaria. So what we do about that data is we're able to analyze that data for different places. So one of our biggest spot was Mumias, and we took out some data. After that, we are able to clean that data because the data is not so clean. And if anybody will tell you in a data science pipeline, 90% of the work is cleaning the data in different formats, right? So after doing that, we're able to visualize to see, okay, what is the sum of the disparities that we are getting, right? So that was for one place. We went to the second place. We've done this in 3 places, right? And we're still going about it. So after that, we're able to choose now what is the best approach to predict, let's say, what is the next location, or what is the possible likely location with these variables that will be malaria infested, right? So this is a classification regression problem. I told you I'll go a bit technical on this matter, just to give you a gist of what we're trying to do. So it's supervised because we already have the data. The data is on us. We have tons of data set on this one, right? And we're still accumulating it. So what we do is being able to take this data and to be able to pass this data to a regression algorithm. After that is when we're able to do a prediction on, okay, given these variables, what is the next location that malaria will actually is highly likely to hit. So that was our approach. We're still on it. We want to be able to publish a paper on that. So if I could just give you a gist, these are the deaths from 2012 still ongoing. This is just a record that you're able to share, but we'll share more later on our site. So the next one is, the next project is image diagnosis treatment. This is a bit more complex. So I cannot even share the images on this one because most of you wouldn't eat lunch. So what this does is, what we did is we collaborated with an institute, the Medical Institute, which is based in Canada, and it has opened branch in Ghana. So what we're trying to do is work on image diagnosis, but for gynecology. Yeah, I know, it's a new, if you know gynecology. So that's why I told you I won't be able to share this. Most of you won't eat lunch for the images. I'll go straight forward to what we try to do. So what we try to do is we take different images. What we have right now is close to 10,000 because we've both used open. So they've given us an open data set for this, but they've also taken some of them from their institute. But after clients being able to be comfortably say it's okay for you to do this. We really work under data policies, so we don't breach them. Anyway, moving forward, so the process of what we're trying to make is an application that you can open your phone, a patient can open the phone, take photo of the infected area, upload it to the doctor. The doctor will be able to run the algorithm and be able to get a couple of results. Then now make a decision whether to call in the patient or whether to advise them. So that is what they want to do, right? So this is really, if you know what a multivariate regression is we want supervised learning. We already have the data, right? So the second thing is we use a technique, multivariate techniques on this data set. So if you heard of supervised quantification, that is what we do. That is what we're trying to do. One of the biggest challenges on doing this is, of course, when you're working with images, different protocols of image resolutions. A client may have a phone that is less pixels, right? And the algorithm has to be able to really learn from that image, right? And the second is really weak labels, because we had to work with their data and we had to relabel it. But we're doing this project under guidance of their chief gynecologist, so it's a step-to-step process, right? Now the third one is interpretation of results. Because it's an image, you have to really look at different pointers that make up your variables. So that means one thing may tell you otherwise, and the other thing may tell you otherwise. So one side may look okay, the other side may not look okay. So being able to interpret the results, which are only two, it's either you having the infection or you're not having the infection. So these are what we're working on. These are the current problems that we are facing on this one, but we're still working on. So those are two projects that we are actively working on. And we hope to go further to explore more projects. As I said, we really don't want to be a community that only does talk to this. Talk is a nice essence, but being able to roll out different projects that have meaningful impact and being able to open source them for different people to actually see and also tap out of it. If we can be able to make APIs that different developers can make solutions out of it, the startups can be founded out of this community, that is our biggest initiative. So we take the biggest load for this one and for innovation to thrive out of AI. So that is what I wanted to share for you. More projects are coming in, individuals. Individuals from Data Morans can be able to showcase their projects too, so you guys can be able to see the work that we are doing. So that's it.
Serval is like an interactive playground for computer vision and data image processing in the browser just helps you like learn or experiment with some of these libraries like OpenCV. So I'm just going to show a very simple demonstration of how it works so that you can get a bit of ideas. So basically it's a, can you hear me like this? Without the microphone? I can hold it for you. So basically it allows you to work with images and videos in the browser and process them and just play with them. I'm going to show a very simple Hello World demo. I'm going to pick like an image, like this one. Oh, this is JavaScript, sorry. Import this image into the code editor, and then I can display it. Show. And then, because some technical reasons that I want to go into, I have to delete the resources used by that image. So if I play, it displays the image here. And so it also allows you to do some basic processing, like in this case, I can use the OpenCV library, which is preloaded and precompiled for the browser. I can convert maybe to what is it? What are the to grayscale? BGRA to gray. I think this is the correct way to call the method, and hopefully it should work. Okay, and right now it's in black and white. So basically that's the gist of how it works. You write some code here, and then you see the results here. You can upload your own videos and images so you can work with them. So this is a very simple example just to show what it's about. Have some example code here that are a bit more advanced, like this one that tries to do edge detection on a live stream from the camera. So hopefully it will work. Yes, and it also allows you to have reactive widgets that you can use to play with your function parameters in real time and see the effects. So this will help you, like if you're processing images and you're not sure which parameters work best, so like for some pre-processing steps, this allows you to do that and see the effects in real time. They are kind of easy to create, relatively easy to create, just a few lines of code here. They allow you to like define your own widget and have like your custom code running in that widget, and you can control it. Yeah, so that's in a nutshell, that's what Serverless is about. If you're interested in it and you like interested in having new features added to it, you can click at, go to the feedback section, and you can create like a new issue here. And then I'll read it and see what requests or feedback or bug reports that are created, and I'll try to sort them out. If you're interested in, you're a developer interested in using it, you can also visit the documentation. Hopefully it's going to display. I've been having this issue today, but it works in Firefox. So this is just some documentation. It's still work in progress, but it also gives you an idea of how to work with it and what you can do with it. Yeah, so in a nutshell, that's what it's about.
Oh, good afternoon. My name is Leonard Mabele. Just as Alfred has introduced me, I head the Internet of Things research in iLab Africa, Strathmore University. In IoT and emerging technologies, that is. In emerging technologies, I am referring to AI, machine learning, TV white spaces, so a number of other things. Now, first of all, I want to take this opportunity and, just, give kudos to Bakaya and Alfred. It takes a lot of courage to start setting up a community, especially in this age when everything around us is so competitive and technology is so dynamic. Now, two things I just maybe want to talk about because I have a very short time, and which is why I don't have slides. And I just want us to engage if there is anything we can talk about in this short time. Currently, just a brief of iLab Africa. iLab Africa is a research center. It's a tech research center with various units. So we have a lot of work going on developing e-health systems. And you understand that's really key. ICT trying to, fast track activities in the medical domain. And we also do have a lot of activities running around software development. We've done quite a number in developing software for very big companies, some of them local, some of them international. We also do have a unit that exclusively gets to work on data science. And with data science, we just had a very big project with World Bank that kicked in from 2016. Basically, the project was more like create a more understanding and a more visual interpretation for Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, trying to kind of map out all the counties in terms of demographics and various, the differences in divides and differences in lifestyles. We also do have a unit that focuses on business development, and with that, we've been able to implement a county revenue collection system for 7 counties in the country right now. We have an incubation space, which we call IBIS Africa. And I understand this past few weeks, I've actually had a number of calls with Alfred, just looking, this event perhaps would have happened at IBIS Africa, because we had quite a number of conversations on the same, which I think it's in a university, when you put something there, you have a lot of diversity coming in. But well, these are conversations going forward. So our incubation space, basically what we do is we get to have people who are startups, incubate startups. So in a way, if you have this idea and you think this idea will get you money, you come around and you pitch it to a team of investors, some of them local, some of them international. And you kind of just define your use cases very well, and these guys listen to you, they see if your idea is viable, they fund you, and for us, we tell you, you have a space, you have everything you need, and we also ensure that we network you. And then we do have Internet of Things, basically, and that's more like the youngest department, which I, in a way, started in Strathmore University. Now, for those of you who understand Strathmore University, it has not launched its engineering school yet, but it's launching it next month. And that's coming from the pressure coming up of the activities that we are doing at IoT. Basically, IoT is all about remote sensing, connectivity, and making sure big data is kind of embedded with more value through AI and through other machine learning techniques. So what I just want to float to you right now, and again, I like the presentation Bakaya has given. We really have to be, in a way, build a lot of sustainability on these emerging technologies. And I think sustainability is going to come from the projects that we're going to get to develop and work on them. And I think the conversations I've had so far with Alfred, I've actually been looking at more of business development, kind of business concepts that sit on top of AI. Because again, let's be real, it's easy for us to get so involved in tech and earn so little and again be poor. So we don't want that kind of approach, okay? So the conversation of are we already currently working with a set of partners trying to collaboratively get a grant that will get us to work on a very big project. The grant is almost, it's $25 million. So if the $25 million can come around, then it means what Weaver has mentioned in terms of research, this is the time we say, okay, look, we have a lot of money to test a lot of what we want, and we have a lot of time to craft the sustainability plan from here. So this morning when I woke up, I got I'm in the Laravel group, and I'm also in the Intel developer group with Alfred and Weaver and very many other people. So from the Laravel group, I saw someone has sent in something on AI, drone weaponry, and drone weaponry using AI. Yeah, for some moment, I looked at the video, it's more like I think it's a 3-minute video. Is it a 3-minute or 2-minute video? And it was so interesting to see just how AI can be used to properly get to have a precision of target of a terrorist or whoever, and again just map out a building that is maybe invaded by terrorists or have harmful chemicals or harmful weapons and all that. But again, on second thought, I sat back and asked myself, okay, so this is Kenya, this is Africa. And there are things that are pretty different, and I think it's proper that we get to define them. For instance, we, in a way, are battling some things like food security. We have a problem in the medical sector. We do have quite a number of problems in transportation. We have a lot of congestion in the country, if you're moving around. So I just, in my mind, when I was coming, first I forwarded the video to the Intel group, so maybe Alfred could check before I come in here. But the idea of all these things I'm mentioning is the problems are geographically different. And the way I'm looking at it is AI has a lot of value in the many domains that exist for us. Matter of fact, next month, we are having a co-creation weekend, just looking for IoT startups or businesses that are running, are kind of leveraging IoT for agriculture. And it's being sponsored by GIZ, SAP, IBM, and a team of the Ministry of ICT will also be there. So the flow of thought in this case is, we can start making a lot of value of AI by just looking at the problems around us. And I think in this era, it's just about the data, basically. And I think right now, there's one thing I like in this ecosystem is a lot of things are open source. And I understand, Weaver maybe is the best person to talk about this very well. But there's a lot in terms of open source technology or open source, programming languages, Python, whatever. You can be able to leverage that to deliver good solutions. And by good solutions, I'm referring to you not building something nice, something robotic, because these are things we've done in electrical engineering back then, and we can still do them, yes. But apart from that, think of the value of it. So for me, I just have one message for AI community as we launch today. It's a very good initiative, and I applaud it, and I'm very proud to be part of it. In fact, all of us should be proud to be living in this era, because looks like you're going to know a lot more than the generations that came before us, and we are going to make a lot of impact more than the generations that came before us. And from an element of research, I think we are also going to build a legacy that has not existed before, which I think if you do a paper over something that has not been done, then this is a legacy you've built. But bottom line, which I want to leave you with, don't just build a cool technology. Try to kind of tailor that technology towards addressing a problem. And if you're going to address that problem, then that's sustainability. And that's what everyone wants to see. And that's what you'll be proud of, which is the business.
So this is the temporary link, the temporary domain you're working with now. The website is supposed to have is aikenya.io, but we were setting up the website on Azure. We have some Azure credits, and it messed us up a bit, so we needed to have a second plan. So this is the temporary link, the temporary domain you're working with now. I want to take you quickly through the different sections we have. Yeah, so this is our website, ai.sitepower.co.ke. The final domain by next week should be aikenya.io. So that's our homepage. We've shared some opportunities, learning resources. So I'll go straight to learning. So under learning, we broke it down to 3 parts. We have beginner, intermediate, and expert. So if you click beginner, we have resources for data science, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. So all of these are free online courses and sort of videos that you can watch, articles that you can read that can get you started on AI. And then we also have the intermediate section. For those guys who already have some knowledge, you just want to develop on it, or you need a refresher. And then we have the expert section. And then for resources, we shared sites that have data sets. So USI, machine learning, and Kaggle. And then apart from that, we also shared some podcasts that you can listen to, because we believe the only way learning AI should not only be about reading research papers and coding. You also need to listen to experts. So we have linked NVIDIA in AI podcast, This Week in Machine Learning and AI, Learning Machines 101. So this is just the first sort of installment of the website. We are improving it with time. So if you're a front-end developer, if you're a back-end developer, there's so much you want to do on this website so that we can make it beneficial to anyone who accesses it. Yeah. And I think So we are waiting for lunch. So we'll serve our lunch in the next room. In the meantime, I'd like to open if you have any questions for us as a community, any expectations, this will be the time. Yeah.
You working with the task force that is headed by Bitang and Demo? Yes, I just want to understand how you're working so far.
We found out about training partners like Zukademy that we didn't know about. And these are training institutions that can help people get started and sort of understand the technology. So we just want to bridge the knowledge gap and bring people who have the same interests together. Yeah.
So our community is not just made up of this one or two people. Our community is who we are, yeah? And from what I can see, all of us are young people. Somebody asked about, for example, is AI Kenya working with this group? Is AI Kenya working with this group? So there's only so much Alfred can do, yeah? There's only so much Weaver can do because they also have other things that they're doing. But if we make this like a church thing, you know, in church when you're told next time come with somebody. I'm speaking about this even in terms of the women in tech thing. Because we know women, for example, women are there. But you have a sister, you have a cousin, you have somebody who you know is interested in AI. So just like how somebody added me to the group and I didn't know about it, we know we share a lot of things on social media. Yes, Ugali man. Yes, I don't know this cat video. Yes, this and this. But my request is for us as young people to also add more value to the friends and the networks that we have, the things that you're sharing online, the things you're inviting your friends online, not just telling somebody, okay, there's this concert, this and so person is performing, but you also tell them, even if that, for example, event is happening and it's not affecting you, you'll know that, okay, I have a friend of mine who's interested in blockchain. Just forward that email or that tweet or something to them. So the community grows when all of us come together and put in more work. So let's be more of producers and not consumers. Because even in the WhatsApp group, we know there are half of the people who are just dead. We never see them talk. We don't know who they are. We don't know you are actually there, yeah? So the little that you can contribute. From the graph that was shown there, only 1% of people say they're experts. And I believe that is somewhat true because, again, this is an emerging field and that we are still learning. But what I like about the community is that whatever you will say, somebody will not shut you down.
I think this is a very interesting forum. I would like to know more about the group and hopefully join. Oh, I do electrical in Jomo Kenyatta.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Raymond, electrical engineer. And I'm hoping that AI Kenya will bridge the gap between data scientists and like the HR community as she was staying and stuff. So really optimistic about AI Kenya, and yeah.
How has it been so far?
So Matters Resources, AI Kenya has been exceptional because the group is always being spammed by Alfred with a lot of data. So like most of the things you can't even go through, but like having them is really good because when you're working on maybe a data set or some other stuff, you have a lot of stuff to research on.
I want to, first of all, congratulate AI Kenya for this initiative, for coming up with a community. And it's a very difficult thing, it's a challenging task. And mine was just to ask what is your plan about the members of the community and how you'll be growing, yeah, like your community in terms of mentorship. Like when we have this kind of meetups, we need speakers who have been in the field, in the industry. I like the way she was talking about the task force. The next meetup, maybe we can have maybe a member of the task force, yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm confident Stella will help us make that happen. She can get one of the representatives from the task force to sort of share what they're doing currently, their insights in terms of AI for the local scene. For the meetups, the reason we started AI Kenya and not AI Nairobi or AI Kisumu or any other town is because we want to make the whole country a part of the conversation. And we want you guys who are here in Nairobi, when you go back to your local areas, you also get the word out about the work you are trying to do, and then getting the universities outside Nairobi also part of the conversation. So in terms of the speakers, we will be partnering with the organizations like Google, Intel, and other partners to recommend speakers and experts in the field. And we'll be holding fireside chats, we'll be holding training events with them. I think the most upcoming one we're having is, we're having representatives from Liquid Telecom. They'll have some training for us in terms of AI and data science. I think should be the business or startup side. So if you're a startup and you're working on AI, they'll be able to help us. So there's quite a lot that we have planned for you guys. And the way we said, we want you guys to be part of managing and running the community. So we don't want it to only be 3 guys, myself, Weaver, and Stella.
I just want to take this opportunity to appreciate AI Kenya. I heard AI Kenya from Alfred in another group called Atlassian Kenya, yeah. And I got inspired with what he said about AI, because I'm also into machine learning and other stuff, and I'm a software developer. So just taking this opportunity to appreciate you guys, and I hope this community will move forward and also join us back in Eldoret. Thank you.
Thank you guys for coming. It was a great event. Thank you for turning up. We look forward to seeing you in the next event. We'll serve lunch in the next room, so just proceed to the room on your left. So thank you for coming, guys.